And we are live. Welcome.
All right.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hope you had a good holidays. How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling?
Hopefully better than us. It has been a bit of a ride this last week.
Oh yeah, my dude, I'm dying. No, I'm in my backup office. There is no video. Oh, there is video. We're good. Okay.
We good. No
We're set. We're set. Never mind. I'm talking crazy.
Yeah, you're sick. I'm exhausted. Let's do this.
It's great. This is the only time I have. It is in between my convention weekends. And of course, I got the con flu from the first one, but I'm going to be recovered in time for the second one. I've timed it out perfectly.
And you can get con flu too.
I can,
really
but I'll have
building up your immune
antibodies.
system.
I will be either perfect for the rest of the year, or, oh god, this year I have already ruined it. But 2025, that's going to be my year.
Just giving up now. Welcome to Design Dorks, everybody. Our special end of the year episode. We're doing things a little differently this time.
Exactly. You know, many people try to celebrate video games, the year in past and whatnot. We don't care about that because we're hyper-specific in our interests and in our ability to actually talk about things and pretend that we have authority. So instead, we are going through the top 15 video game characters of this year.
Indeed. We've both taken a list of our 10 favorites. I think the list is currently made up of 7 of yours, 4 of mine, and 2 that are shared between us. Something like that.
That's
Math.
13. That's not 15.
No, 7, 4, 2.
7, 4, 2, that's 13, honey.
No, that's 15. No, you're not wrong.
7 plus 4 is 11, plus 2 is 13.
Fuck. This is why I'm going back to school. My mental math is abysmal. 6 of mine, 9 of yours, 2 that are shared.
Honey, please.
I'm so confident too. That's the worst part. You go next. I need to recover from this.
That's absolutely fine. I don't know. I had a nice time. Had a great weekend at Anime Los Angeles. Great con. Highly would recommend for anyone who would maybe want to go next year. It's a good size. It's not the kind that gave me anxiety, but the kind that I was like, oh, I can actually do things here.
Nice. It's always nice when you get that nice balance. There's enough people to share the interests, but not to the point of just claustrophobia and smells.
Precisely. Did you have any thoughts on the Game Awards or anything? Because we're not going to be covering our usual rigmarole for this episode. We are just focusing on things.
Gosh. The whole please wrap it up thing.
Please wrap it up.
Was so shit. Just during Swen's acceptance thing and giving Kojima 10 minutes at the same time when he didn't do jack shit at the same... Ugh. That was the first Game Awards that really made me mad. But Baldur's Gate won everything. And Hi-Fi Rush.
No, that's all the time we have for the segment. Thank you so much for being here today. We really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah. I at least appreciated Christopher Judge's Call of Duty joke. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
That was very good, and it made people legitimately upset. Which
is the best kind.
Exactly. But no, hope you guys are settled. Hope you guys are cozy. A lot of talk is going around about YouTubers retiring, but we have no common sense, so we're going to be here for a little while longer, at least. So.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I guess my best judgment. I don't know how I'm going to juggle all of these priorities, but I'll do it somehow.
You'll manage.
I'm sure I will. It'll be fun. Alright, you want to get this thing started off proper?
Oh yes, shall we? Alright. So, to everyone here who would like, we have considered between the two of us 15 characters this year that we thought were exceptional in the realm of video games. And I'm going to start this off by saying this crop significantly stronger than last year's.
Oh yeah, I feel like you'd say that about just most aspects of video games in the last year. Like, great gameplay, great stories, fantastic music.
Oh, and I know, I agree, but our top two last year was what?
It was DDD and Erdrick. No, not Erdrick. What?
Erdrick, no.
Orsted.
Orsted.
Yes.
Orsted, DDD, and then, like, Cruz from Xenoblade and God of War.
Yeah. Which are good games, but, like...
I don't think that top 5 cracks this year's top 10.
I think God of War was... Well, no, I would bring a different list for God of War now that I've completed the game. I think a few of them could scratch it, but
I think maybe end of game Kratos could scratch this.
I'd bring Sindri.
No one else would I give it to.
Dude, Sindri's story, that was phenomenal.
Well, yeah, but that's you.
Okay,
You go with that. But yeah, as much as, like, I love DDD and whatnot, you're only going to see a couple of those, like, little toss-in nominations here. We don't have anyone on the level of Knuckles off of the strength of Sonic Frontiers and the Sonic 2 movie.
Knuckles. I forgot about that. Silly
Not
Pillow.
only because this was a much stronger year for writing for Sonic characters, however, there are no Sonic characters.
Indeed. And just to... clarify, because someone's going to ask it, we're talking about video game characters specifically. Rayman had a fantastic year, but the fantastic stuff about Rayman was not in the gaming realm. Like, I fucking love Captain Laserhawk, but the DLC for the Sparks of Hope, I can't even remember what the name of the DLC, that was a bit mid.
Yep, so, precisely. Same thing with a character like Bowser, who had an incredible year, all things considered. However, the bulk of his strength did not come from his game appearances this year. As much as I am enjoying him in Mario Wonder, finally going through it, and being like, he talks more in this than some RPGs. Cool.
Low bar, considering some of them. All right, but why don't you rattle off the list of characters that we got here?
All right, so for this year, Design Dorks officially nominates for the Best Character of the Year Chai from Hi-Fi Rush, Luke from Street Fighter VI, You, the player character, from Slay the Princess, the Princess from Slay the Princess, Peter Parker from Spider-Man 2, Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man 2, Isaac Clarke from the Dead Space remake, Kazuma Kiryu from Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, Dion Lesage from Final Fantasy XVI, Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3, Wyll from Baldur's Gate 3, Gale of Waterdeep from Baldur's Gate 3, Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3, Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3, and Fake Peppino from Pizza Tower.
Nice. Blindingly obvious where most of my picks came from.
This is going to be a fun endurance match for me and you, chat. Because we see the dark clouds on the horizon, and we are the light that can either cause or ruin this perfect finale that I don't think most of you care about. But yes, we will at times try to debate this between characters. Each of us is going to go back and forth on who we would like to cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go me and then Duke, and we will debate, and we will get very, very angry when we reach a certain point, and it will be lovely, and you will all be privy to it. Your thoughts are allowed, but will they be listened to? I don't know.
We will see. We'll see how articulate and erudite our audience is feeling today.
Exactly. So please feel free to contribute. Feel free to have your own thoughts and whatnot. I will start this off, and I will cut fake Peppino.
Really? You're digging into your own list at the first?
It's absolutely fine. It's okay. But you know what? I only have him on here because it is a love letter of animation as a boss fight. Have you seen this boss fight?
I have not. No, I have not. Tell me on fake Peppino's appeal.
Okay, so you know the general body language and idea of Pizza Tower, right?
Yes.
Just the whole 90s cartoon aesthetic, very exaggerated, very Ren and Stimpy, very Courage the Cowardly Dog. Originally, Pizza Tower was going to be a horror game, sort of styled around Courage the Cowardly Dog, really? Dodging back and forth and sort of things. And then it got changed into a Wario Land game because the director McPig was like, I would really like a Wario Land game, so I'm going to make a Wario Land game because I love Wario Land. And you still feel the DNA of, you know, the horror aesthetics through Peppino, through his exaggerated emotions and whatnot. The fourth boss of this game is Peppino versus Peppino, and it's just a mirror image of it. But when you turn around, he is this long, gangly man. Like, imagine Dr. Eggman with lanky Kong arms, but dressed as an Italian, and his face is starting to melt.
Oh, lovely. That sounds awesome.
He looks at you and he screams. And what he do is he do all of your moves, but he's kind of flopping around like an Ed, Ed, and Eddie when he runs. Except, like, imagine if instead of a steady run cycle that made sense for the character, it was like constantly breaking its own animation principles, and his body was starting to fall apart.
That sounds amazing.
He then continues to do all of your moves, but he is killing himself doing it. He is literally dissolving into a cheese-like goop every time that he does things. Like when he super jumps, he makes a frog sound and he bounces onto the wall, flattens himself into a liquid, and then does it again, and then continues doing it until he is a blur.
Wow.
And then he rises from it and makes a ton of clones of himself that all just die when they miss you.
That's some delightful creepypasta shit right there. I'm really loving the sound of this.
And then you clear his health bar, and then you have to kill his negative empty health bar as well, as he does even stronger versions of his other attacks, while the entire pizzeria that you're fighting in starts becoming more and more distorted, and a worse, creepy version of It's Pizza Time starts playing, as everything starts falling apart around you, and then you kill him, and then there's an escape sequence.
All right.
Where he has morphed himself into a giant screaming face that just makes this little sloshing sound as it slowly inches its way towards you, screaming at you constantly, and then you close the door, and you're like,
solved the problem.
I did it. Me. It is an amazing boss fight. It is just a boss fight, however.
All right. Still sounds fantastic, but
I just want to bring it forward so that I can better sell the appeal of Pizza Tower. If I had to do its physical characterization in one thing, it would be fake Peppino. There are also excellent characters in it. Peppino himself, Pizza Head, all follow these strong animation principles. A lot of people like the noise. I do not. I hope he dies. But yeah, I felt it remiss to not celebrate the animation principles of a game through characterization. And I think fake Peppino is an incredibly strong use of that.
Very nice, very nice. Okay. So you had the courtesy to cut one from your list. I think I will do the same here. Because as much as I absolutely adored how they handled him, not much really changed with Isaac Clarke in Dead Space. I brought him to this meeting of characters, less so for his writing, although the writing of the original Dead Space is quite fantastic. It's a great exploration of someone's mental state just slowly collapsing in a horrifying situation, just his various hallucinations, how he... the game really sells how he's just some guy in sheer horror, and he's just trying to survive. I wanted to bring him, though, because the biggest fear I had with this game was that they're going to kind of make him, like, the second game, more of the kind of modern Marvel, quippy, sort of like, oh, that was really rough, man. Or just kind of giving light jokes, kind of bringing down the mood, which for something like Dead Space is not what you want to do. But for what little they do with him here, and I think part of the reason it works so well is because of how little they do, is they upgraded him from a completely silent protagonist, but they still keep him in a very grounded, just some guy stuck in a space station as in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. And I really appreciate the restraint there, while still using those little moments to really capture who this character is and what he's going through right now. His desperation to find his girlfriend, his determination to survive when, honestly, at the point he's at, death starts feeling more, like, appealing at that point. I don't know. Just it's not much there, but what is there is good. I was kind of tempted to bring, what's her name? Ashley from Resident Evil 4 for similar reasons. Like, they didn't change her much, but what they did change fixed the small issues she had to make her such a more appealing character in the process.
I agree. Great changes in her character design as well.
But yeah, Dead Space is great, but a lot of the reasons it's great were reasons it was already great. Just wanted to throw out a shout out to doing the transition from a silent protagonist to a not silent protagonist in the correct way. Alright, your turn.
Alrighty. Let's see. Let's peck away at this. If I was going to cut a BG3 character first, it would be Wyll. So,
you know what, I think... Okay, so brief explanation. I am currently at close to the end of Act 2 of Baldur's Gate 3. I have not beaten the game, so I don't know the full story of any of these characters. They all still...
Oh, so I know more than you. Awesome.
You probably do know more than me, yes. I would agree with that, though. I think Wyll is the... I don't know if I call him the weakest of the bunch, but from what I've seen of his character, he wows me the least. He through fully... And now you're kind of stuck. Do you do the bad things, or do you piss off your patron?
Yeah, that sounds like what Gale does, but less fun.
No. Gale's take on the story is far more enjoyable. I am excited to see how the story handles various things with his father, especially after he becomes a demon, after pissing off I think her name's Mizora, his patron.
Right.
But I frankly just haven't gotten there yet. That said, he's such a charming individual. Like, Will's the kind of guy that you just want to have as a friend. Every time he decides to pop up in a conversation or just having this little banter between the other companions, I love hearing him talk so much.
Oh, I agree. I think that he's a necessary part of the party dynamic because you have crazy people and also Wyll.
Yeah, exactly. He's a nice grounding rod to help the rest of the party. But honestly, yeah, if you're gonna cut one of Baldur's Gate 3, I definitely agree with Wyll.
Good. I would like to kill him here.
Okay. by Wyll.
It goes without saying that most of the BG3 characters are fantastically written. Like, we could throw in a cat from that game, and it would still probably rank in another gear.
Oh no, yeah, like, I think if I got to the end of the game, I'd want to put, like, Raphael, the demon that tries to alpha use.
Yeah, I know, Hells, yes.
His voice is dripping with charisma. I could listen to him narrate anything for hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, chock full of fantastic characters. But it's almost a good thing I haven't finished the game yet. Otherwise, I probably would have brought nothing but characters from that game.
Yep.
Okay. Next up... So I remember watching Final Fantasy 16 alongside you, watching Tarvold go through the game.
Yeah.
I don't remember this character at all.
Bahamut.
Oh! Alright, tell me why he was good. Like, I remember enjoying the story of it, but there was never specific, like, wow, this is amazing kind of bits from the writing.
The reason that I have Dion here is because I feel like he is strongest and most representative of FF16's themes, other than perhaps Clive himself, but I'm just not personally a fan of the sort of gruffer protagonist, sort of. Clive hits a sort of feel of your Guts from Berserk, sort of.
Yeah.
Level of oppression. And, like, the strongest moments of FF16's writing, I feel, come from those moments of either overcoming or really doubling down hard on the state of the world. Like those moments where the mother looks to her child when they've had a baby who has been branded and goes, "Don't worry, son, we'll get you a real brother next time."
Yeah, there's some moments that revolve around that kind of theme throughout that game.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely rank up there for just the gut punches.
Dion, I feel, goes through a very, very strong arc of struggling with trying to find the middle ground in between trying to understand people and trying to fulfill levels of familial duty and obligation, and he has a lot to answer up to with his father and his own meaning of justice and whatnot in the world. Mm-hmm. And in a world where the politics and the overt racism are as pronounced as they are, mm-hmm. I feel like you really need a character to be representative of that to double down hard. And I feel like his overall resolutions for it, you get the full picture of him. You get him fighting against the idea of it and also accepting it and succumbing to it. It's a very traditional arc in a sense, but it's built up by the entirety of the writing of FF16. It's also probably the coolest boss in the game.
That's true. Yeah, definitely that one.
Space Dragon is a really, really high bar to clear.
Oh yeah, just the amount of times I kind of felt like, okay, this is done now. They can't go any higher, and it just goes to a completely new level of just awe-inspiring. Let's get everything Bahamut has ever been throughout the entire Final Fantasy franchise. Somehow
we get to the point where killing God seems like a step down.
Right. That's just correct.
And, like, that deserves praise.
I'd agree with
That's
that.
Good.
I'd agree with that.
I don't think he'll get much higher, but I do respect him a lot, so.
No, yeah, you sold me on that. I don't think I want to quite get rid of him. Yeah, because there were some great moments throughout that Final Fantasy 16, mm-hmm. and I really did enjoy the story. It's just...
Yep.
There's just so much... A bizarre game of highs and lows, that one. Like, it's either doing
absolutely.
The coolest stuff you've ever seen, or just... You're bored to tears. Okay. I love Luke. Luke is great.
Give me a reason to cut him now.
Yeah, because he's just...
Rising uppercut! I'm sorry, try again.
Fuck you. See, I'm gonna start saying something and he's...
Rising uppercut!
That goddamn game.
Sandblast!
I know! You're gonna grab me next and I'm not gonna be able to get out of it. You're just gonna get me stuck in a corner.
Beast mode, baby!
Second.
We're going to Memphis!
He's so fun, but I feel like a solid 33% of that enjoyment is more his voice actor and how he's embraced
Alex
the community.
Lee is carrying this
over the
so
actual
hard.
game. I know, yes. But for Street Fighter 6,
Did you see the interview he did for the con that he's at this weekend?
I did. He's wonderful. He's a phenomenal human being.
Jingle bell.
Yeah. It's so nice to see someone just embrace the role they're going with.
So I did not put any other SF6 characters on this list, even though I feel like I very well could have. Because Luke is everything that SF6 has done for the series to me. Like, do you remember Luke at all from Street Fighter V?
I remember his hair, and that's literally it.
People hated him. Hated that character. Loathed him. Thought he simplified the game state, made it boring to play, thought he was ugly as hell, generic. He had a basic PMC background where it's like, my dad instilled confidence in me, and now I gotta live up to my dad's expectations and find the next street fight. Does any of that sound like Luke of Street Fighter 6?
Not in the slightest.
Precisely. Luke is not only the change of direction that Street Fighter has taken, he is the elevation of it. I know a lot of people would attribute that to Alex Lee and his memes and his ability to go, I'm Luke from Streets, and whatnot. And just his ability to capture that. But that character, that ability, that fan base was created organically from that energy. Like, that is a transference of character that only him as the actor being able to make acting choices in the booth would be able to make. And from a gameplay identity perspective, I think that there is one character in this list that is stronger than Luke.
I hope it's the same character I'm thinking of, but we'll get to that character later.
Yes.
I do agree with you. I feel like that kind of infectious energy has seeped through just the entirety of Street Fighter, both its cast, its writing, its visual style, its music. There is just a vibe throughout that whole game, and I do feel like Luke is a nice poster boy of just bringing that vibe forward to the table. I think he was the perfect character to choose as the poster boy for this new direction.
He is on the box, and people don't hate it anymore.
Yeah. With this stupid-ass pose, too, and that facial expression.
But it
fits him. It fits him so well. Those moments of just gifting him... What was the name of the horror game? It's the Resident Evil 7
Yes, the
equivalent.
RE8 parody.
And he panics because he doesn't want to refuse the gift, but he's also absolutely terrified of horror games. But, okay, sure, he's gonna play it.
I'll do it just a little for you, buddy. For you.
Yeah, he's so adorable. I think what's... I want to say brings him down, because I think every character from this point forward is just 10 out of 10 phenomenal casting choices. It's just that Street Fighter 6 isn't as ambitious with its character writing. It, like, presents a super strong, like, character archetype, but it kind of is what you'd expect with that character archetype, if that makes any sense.
No.
I don't know.
No, I disagree with you. It does what you expect. Absolutely not. Look at where it's taken Jury this year.
No, I know, but I feel like
she used to be Step on Me, and now she's like, haha, look at the stinky gremlin.
Well, yeah, but
I
she
can
still
fix
also
her.
Step on Me.
Well, yes, she is, but with the but there's a different form of appeal. You're taking different steps to get there.
I don't know. I think I attribute that strength more to the direction of Street Fighter 6 rather than the individual characters, I guess. But
Bro,
that
Luke
direction is
changed
still
his
strong.
public perception on the internet.
Well,
Do
yes,
you know
but I
how
don't
hard
think-
that is?
I barely knew anything about Luke from Street Fighter 5 before his Street
And
Fighter
if you
6
knew anything, it was that
appearance.
he's ugly and bad, and people hate him.
Yeah, I don't know if I would attribute that to like a complete shift of public perception. That was more just like, okay, the character got out of early access and is ready to be shown to the world now.
No, they released him as a full character.
Oh, yeah,
I get
but
that
it
it was like
didn't
a
feel
preview
done.
of the future of Street Fighter and whatnot, but like, he got as much release as any other Street Fighter 5 character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is as much on Luke SF5 as there is on G. And I love G.
Yes, but I wouldn't attribute that evolution solely to Luke. Like, the reason that Street Fighter 6 took off as much as it did was because of everything about it. It was the visual style, it was the music, it was...
Well, yeah, but how many fans does Lily have?
Well, yes, but...
Now, how
like,
many fans does Luke have comparatively? That's right, baby.
You can't take the one bad character design when everybody else on the cast is just 10s out of 10s out of 10s out of 10s.
Well, I am just saying,
You
in
got
spite of
Marissa.
everything,
You
I
got
think Luke
Manon.
is... I think Luke is somehow stronger than Kimberly.
Yeah, but you got also, like, the whole entire meme narrative around Ken losing the kids and his new hobo design.
Exactly. You remember
have-
Boom
you have
divorced?
that dream.
Oh, sorry,
New
Boom still
direction.
married? That was Luke.
I might just be arguing semantics of just like, because I feel like the entirety of the picture of Street Fighter 6 is so strong, but I'm not quite fond of attributing that to an individual character over any other, because I do feel like they all are really, really strong.
I do as well, except for Luke, who is clearly the reason. No one has leaned into it half as hard. I love Manon. She was so close to getting on this list because I'm like, you made me feel good as a grappler again. That hasn't happened in almost 10 years. Not even Potemkin did that.
Okay, I'll probably toss Luke under the bus soon, but I'll let him survive a little bit longer. The only other one, it's really the pair of them. I enjoyed what I watched of Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but comparatively to like all the other characters and stories of this year, I think it was fine. I think it was good. It was a fun story, but this might just be also just the unsettling aspect of changing all of the faces so when the characters don't look quite right compared to what I initially got emotionally invested with the first game story.
Yeah, I get you,
which was phenomenal. Like, if we're talking Spider-Man 1 here, I can easily get 2 or 3 characters into the top 10. I think of the 3 I've talked about, the other one on the chopping block for me is Peter.
Okay, I can let him go.
Okay. So I did really enjoy Peter's story throughout Spider-Man 2. I feel like he's apart from the other character we have, was the one that got a complete story. Spider-Man 2 was definitely, this is confirmed actually, was a game where a lot was left on the chopping block. The voice actor for Venom said they only used like 10% of his vocal recordings.
That sounds right.
Yeah, which is insane to me. But Peter's story was mostly, like, the heavier emotional beats were more heavily centered on the front end of the story, which is where I feel like the game's narrative was the most cohesive. Like, going from beat to beat to beat, and I feel like they were fully fleshing out what they wanted to do with the story. It wasn't until, like, the latter third that things get really, really rushed, but in that first half is when you have Peter with the symbiote suit. You start going through his slow decline of, like, oh, wow, I gotta save my friend. Oh, wow. Man, can't they see? I'm just trying to do the right thing here. Like, who do they think they are? Like, Harry just wants the suit back for himself. Like, gosh, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take this out on Kraven. I'm gonna kill Kraven. And it's a really nice devolution. That admittedly, the component of comparison is the Spider-Man 3 movie, which is memeable, but not as good. But I feel like it's a nice deconstruction of all the shit that Peter's going through, all the stuff, like, he blaming himself for May's death, he's stretching himself too thin, wanting to do the Foundation stuff with Harry, but also wanting to have a regular life with MJ, trying to have a job, but constantly failing because he's trying to teach Miles at the same time. Like, he's breaking down, and I feel like they have a nice exploration of that psychologically with the symbiote suit, slowly bringing that up, culminating in his boss fight with Miles, which, first of all, it's cool that you fight one Spider-Man as the other. Love that.
Yes.
But it's also just hearing him kind of break out, being like, I can't lose anybody else. Like, you feel for him. Yuri Lowenthal gave a fantastic performance there.
Oh yeah, Yuri's performance as Peter Parker in this is fabulous. It's the small moments with him that I notice. Just those moments of, okay, I guess I won't. Okay. Anyway. Like, it's so rare for me to sympathize with Peter Parker in the sense of him being an outsider, but doing it because of, like, a stronger social pressure. I know that, like, the Tom Holland version gets there with a lot of people, but that's a little too much Michael Cera for me.
That's a good way of putting it.
It feels like Tom Holland's Spider-Man cannot get through a conversation without having a panic attack. Peter Parker sounds like he's trying very hard at all times.
Yeah. And he's being stretched too thin.
Yeah.
And I love how the game handles that.
The amount of stress, the idea of anxiety coming from stress rather than anxiety being an overwhelming character trait is something that exists within this version of Spider-Man, I think, the best. And I appreciate this version of Peter a lot, just because it's nice to have one where he's struggling with having a nice family life or a life with his gay best friend. You know?
Exactly, yeah. His boss fight against the symbioted MJ as well. Just that really enjoyable dynamic of, like, the symbiote bringing out her
God, she gets
conflict.
One good moment in this game. And it's so good, and then the rest of the game.
Yeah, gosh. I feel like you can say that about most of the characters. Like, gosh, I love this version of Miles. It feels like every story he has, there's, like, 3 important scenes missing. And then it'd be perfect.
I know. And also, they ruin him visually at the end because of the Adidas deal, which is the wrong company to... That... I don't know shit about New York, and I know that's the wrong company to assign to that character.
Oh... If we were doing a worst list, I might put Miles on just for how much of a train wreck that was. I feel like Venom could have been amazing, but they rushed it so hard. But Peter...
Yeah, but there's so many good concepts.
There's
God,
so
it's Web
many.
of Shadows all over again.
It's so great. I just having that around the same time as the Across the Spider-Verse is just sweeping the board on all accounts. It's an unfortunate point of comparison, and it brings down the rest of this because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed the story of this game, Peter Parker. But, like, I can't... I left it feeling like it could have been better. And that's not something I want to be feeling when I'm leaving the story.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so Peter's at 12. Who's the next one you want to throw in?
Oh, Dion can go now. That's fine.
Oh, okay, good. Got a little higher.
Yeah.
Bit of another game where I feel like, oh, you have some great ideas, and you really pull them off in a couple of areas, but...
Absolutely. I want to highlight that 100%.
Yeah. Just streamline the design of these ideas next time around. Okay. I didn't expect to... Well,
go for it.
We get... You okay with getting Luke at 10? Top 10 character?
He could be single digits, though. Who can I argue him over? I want to see how far I can push it, because I really like Luke.
Well, no, yeah, I love Luke, too.
I just want good things for him.
I know the reputation of Yakuza. I don't want to...
Not now.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, I haven't played the game. I barely know anything about it. I still want to hold on. And from what you've described of Slay the Princess, I also... You know, I adore Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3. I think I'd be willing to part with her here because she is a fantastic character, but her character is quite simple as a general baseline. She is a person that has gone through just the most horrifying enslavement through it, just being forced to be a thrall of the burning hells, having this infernal engine placed inside her that causes her body to ignite and super, like, she's on fire all the time.
Right.
But instead of letting that draw her down, she becomes just really upbeat, outgoing. She kind of communicates this inner turmoil by trying to lift other people up. But as you get through her story, you realize that all she really wants is just a hug. She can't have that.
Yeah, she's great. I love her.
Fire. Actually, no, I don't want to give up Karlach. She's fantastic.
Yeah. No. I know a spoiler. That's like only a comedic spoiler, but it makes me want to hold on to her. And I will pull it out as needed.
How far do you want to get the characters of Slay the Princess? We don't have to go through the whole discussion here, but just to get kind of like figure out where we're all lying with how far we're trying to push the writing of these games. I'm
curious. What I would like to do is sort of go through their concepts as characters. To put it simply, I am pushing you higher than I am pushing the princess.
Okay. Actually, what the hell am I doing? Kraven's still here, too. I'm cutting Kraven.
Let's go!
Kind of following up what we just said about just the story beats Spider-Man 2. A lot of that game feels like there were a lot of lost potentials here and there. Kraven dies halfway through, which means that every idea that he had was able to be seen through to fruition. And I feel like what they did with Kraven in this game was fantastic. Like, you're giving...
That's what I was curious about, because I've only seen bits and pieces of this game. And enough to be strongly familiar, but not to get the full scope, you know? So I wanted to know how it felt, because with a villain who bows out halfway through, there is the chance of being overshadowed by another villain. And it's usually Venom. And in this case, it's Venom.
It does, but I honestly feel like Kraven was stronger. Like, a big part of
that's entirely fair. They usually are.
Is that they try to use Kraven to set up Venom, but they don't spend enough time with Venom.
Mm-hmm.
But the setup to that point is just fantastic. Like, you're given like the basic intro to Kraven, like, oh yeah, he's the big game hunter that's completely unsatisfied with just the regular prey he's getting. So he comes to New York where all these superhumans are, and like, yeah, this will give him the rush he's looking for. And it's presented as just a rush. Like, he's just an adrenaline junkie that's like, oh, I want to become better. I want to become the strongest hunter, take out the strongest prey. But as you learn more about him, you realize that he's dying. I can't remember if it's cancer or something like that, but his own body is failing him. Like, he wants to become the strongest hunter, but he physically can't because he is slowly atrophying.
Oh god, he's just like Walter White.
So he's pursuing this not because he wants to be the best, but because he doesn't want to die as this just bedridden, from his point of view, failure. That all
just like Walter White.
It's the Walter White of hunters.
Exactly.
So once he gets introduced to the symbiote suit, you just see him light up. Like any other character would be horrified, especially since it's attached to Peter, as you're seeing this character simultaneously just embrace his inner demons and fall apart. Kraven just becomes this beacon of excitement of, oh yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I've been dreaming of. You will give me that perfect death. And he has that taken away from him as Miles saves Peter from the symbiote. And you see Kraven just crushed. He's frustrated. But then Harry gets the symbiote back, becomes Venom. And just the sheer delight in Kraven's voice as he just screams out, yes, you
Harry,
will be my
we need to
last
hunt.
And I will be your first. Recognizing that he has met the true apex predator. And just thanking Venom right before Venom bites off his head.
Yes.
I don't feel like Spider-Man 2 quite lands any other character arc, but they set out to do... Well, they managed to set out everything they managed to do with Kraven, and that right there is what frustrates me about the other characters, because it shows that they can do fantastic things with them. They just didn't quite have the time with any of the rest of them. But just the facial expression that Kraven has as he falls to his knees after Venom has bested him, like that's some solid just conveyance of emotion there. And the performance the guy gives, I don't know this voice actor, but the performance he gives of just feeling like he's been blessed with this moment, like I felt like it was maybe not the best, but definitely ranks up there from what I really enjoyed in that game.
Good.
Yeah, but Kraven at 10. Kraven at 10. Your turn again.
Alrighty, let's go. Just so I know, rank the BG3 characters and how much you care about them.
For me, of these four, for my personal tastes, Astarion is actually a fourth for me. I love Astarion. I just connected with the other three more. Then it would probably be...
Oh yeah, that's not going to change.
Karlach at 3, Gale at 2, Shadowheart first.
That is not the character I expected at number 1, but okay.
I'll explain it when we get to it.
All right. Okay, so we're at a point where I feel like I need to explain Slay the Princess.
Okay, go for it.
Because I'm at the point where, like, I would like to target Karlach at this point as a bow out.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Slay the Princess needs to be understood and not just my pressure of, nah, dude, trust me. It's real good. They deserve to be here. So to go over again the concept of Slay the Princess, it's very simple. You're spoken to by a narrator who tells you in no uncertain terms, you have to kill a princess, because if you do not kill the princess, it will cause the end of the world. And if you do, then the end of the world will not happen. You then have the choice to resist in a number of ways, and every time that you resist, or what you do to resist on each permutation of it, will cause a change, because after you get your results of either the princess is dead or you are dead, then it will loop, and you will have memory of what happened. The princess will have changed based on what happened, and the narrator will be like, what the fuck are you talking? Just take the nut and kill her.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean alternate time? No. Okay, so, like, let's assume that there was an alternate timeline here. Narrator's not even on here, but I'm going to give him some props. Let's assume there was an alternate timeline here. You're still here, which means that you fucked up. So, logic dictates that this time, do it right. It's a great narrative journey in that sense. There's a lot of experimentation, and all of it is conveyed through the voice acting of Jonathan Sims, who plays yourself, all of your inner voices, and the narrator, and Nicole Goodnight, who plays the princess. And a lot of the changes taken from the character in the various routes are from Goodnight's performance, and she does a lovely, fantastic job. Audio editing when I played was kind of fucked up, but even so, did a great job with that.
In what way? Was it just like poor mic quality or?
Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, all right.
The sort of, you know how you can't hear any of Eggman's lines, but you're delivering them really well? That.
Okay. Makes sense.
So just to give you, like, some general ideas of what would happen. If you actually slay the princess and do everything, no questions asked and whatever, the narrator just locks you into an endless abyss room forever. And he's like, it's okay, you don't have to worry about anything. Nobody's going to die now. Everything's good. The world is safe. You're safe. We're just going to sit here and we're going to have a good ending. And then if you sit there and have a good ending, there's a little crayon drawing that says happy ending. And you go back to the title screen and can play again.
From what you've described of this game, I would definitely believe you that, it needs to stay higher, because out of everybody here, Slay the Princess presents the most interesting style of writing and storytelling, just between, gathering different voices in your head like Pokemon, or watching the evolution of the princess between your various choices. It's the kind of writing style that really get your creative sparks going. Like, just, how is this changing this way? How is this changing this way? If these two personality traits come together, what happens there?
I want to give you just a very solid example, because there is one where it's like, you go over, you talk to the princess, and you're like, no, I think I'm going to slay you. I think that's in everyone's best interest if I slay you. Thanks for letting me hear you out, but we're going to do this.
Okay.
And then you go over to her, and she's like, yeah, not fucking likely. And she strangles you with her chains, and you have a fight, and you manage to score a lethal blow, but she scores a lethal blow on you. And you're lying there in a pool of your own blood, and she's like, well, damn. Shit, I didn't expect that. Anyway, I'll see you next time. And the next princess that you get is one that has devil horns, is buff, and tears out of her own chains, and is like, I am ready for round 2. Let's go, buddy. We're freaking ready. And the voice inside of you is the cheated. It is like, I should have won that. You know what? We're going to think of a new... No. Come on. Plan. Okay, so this time we take the knife, but we hide the knife, okay? Or maybe we throw the knife, because, we get into command grab range. That is bullshit. We can't do that again. I chose to go in with no knife. And it's like, okay, fisticuffs. That sounds like a good way to die. I go in, I'm fighting her, get pummeled. Like, you get description of your face turning to mulch. Get back up, because the cheated is like, nah, we can do this. We cannot accept death here. It's okay. One more time. She beats you down again, and she's like, oh, yeah, you ready? Oh, you have so much more in you. Beats you down again. Okay, you can go down now. You get up again. This isn't fun anymore. Please die. Get up again. What the hell? Stop. Like, it's visibly distressing her. Just like, oh my God, I will make this quick. And that lesson teaches her in your next loop that battle is everything. That the ability to figure out what has happened changes her. And so the next time that you go in, because you have another voice that is scared, she is now like this weird flesh puppet. And she's like, I have been waiting. She tears off her skin and reveals a princess that is made entirely out of swords. She has replaced every bit of her body with a different blade, coated herself in metal so that she is indestructible and permanent, so that she will not fall apart like you, and so that she can get the one sense of joy that she had back to her. And you run against her again and again, and the cheated is like, okay, guess what? That time didn't work. We have another aspect of us. You know, maybe we should try seducing her. And then you try seducing her, and it doesn't work. And then the smitten is now a part of you. It's like, well, we could try again. And you're like, she's made of swords. Yes, the perfect woman. And so this finale is going down every single possible aspect until you're just like, you know what, fuck it, we'll do it. We've learned the matchup. And that is what ends the story. That is the kind of layer and world building of Slay the Princess. That is one permutation of maybe like 15 full ones being fully voice acted, fully explored, fully commentated by yourself.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I never played it before, but the ability to be able to juggle that many different pieces of a story and still combine them in really, not just combine them in really good ways, but like keep it extremely entertaining at the same time. Like, I could see myself going through that again and again and again just to see what changes based on which voices you have at the moment.
Exactly.
It's brilliant storytelling. Love it.
I agree. So, with that said, can I cut Karlach here?
Yeah, you can cut Karlach.
Okay. I do have to tell you the one thing that they added.
Was the fourth wall break, or?
No, it's not the fourth wall break.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, for characters who are like Karlach, there is usually a meme about them smoking a giant joint. Because it's like, oh, look at this sweet character smoking a huge joint. They didn't initially have epilogues for characters all set in stone and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
In post, there's an epilogue where you can follow Karlach to hell. Really? And she's like, yeah. And she'll go up and be like the cool action hero pose and go on, we got work to do. Get a giant cigar and take the biggest rag of it in the world.
Yes. I love that so much.
Anyway, she can go now.
Okay.
I just need to let you go.
I think she's absolutely adorable. Like some of her moments, like her little date that she has because she's so excited, like, oh yeah, I can actually interact with people now. This is great. I for my playthrough, the person that would repair her like infernal heart died, and I am terrified of what's going to happen when I hit that point of the story. But again, I cannot wait to see just like all these different ways that these characters can change, because this is another game where it's like, well, it's less one character and more different permutations of the same character that can shift and change based on various different levels. Oh, I cannot wait to see how that ends. Okay, so that's Karlach at 9.
Yeah.
For the people at home, we still have Chai from Hi-Fi Rush, Luke from Street Fighter 6, you and the Princess, two separate characters from Slay the Princess, Kazama Kiryu from Yakuza's... What's the name of the game?
Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. It's very simple.
Yeah, mouthful. And then Astarion, Gale, and Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, at this point, I want to cut Luke. He got
but
single digits.
It would be so funny if he got to 6. It would be so funny.
Oh, don't say that. That's so true, though.
He would be the Street Fighter 6.
Curse you and your tiny
Rising Uppercut. Yeah.
Thematic nature of that. God damn it. That's so true.
This is the real beast mode, baby. Number 6 is in Memphis.
Oh, is there anybody else? I'm not putting Chai underneath Luke. Not a chance. you've honestly built it up to a point that I could probably put Astarion under Luke. I don't think you would willingly do that.
I wouldn't put Astarion over Luke. No, I wouldn't do that in a million years.
Would you put
I fucking
either
love
of
that
the
creep.
Slay the Princess characters underneath Luke?
Explaining why or why not would involve a spoiler. As to the nature of Slay the Princess.
Can you just give a yes or no? Just out of curiosity?
Would I put them...
Either of them. Like, do either of them rank under Luke for you?
I think they're better characters, but I like Luke more.
Okay. That's how I'm feeling about a lot of these. Like, you're really selling me on the power of Luke as just this ambassador for just how freaking amazing everything about Street Fighter 6 was. You said you were more invested in you over the princess.
I am.
I think of these, because I don't dare touch Yakuza with what I know about that game. Could I sell dropping the princess at 8? Partially
That's
to enable
hard.
the rise of Luke.
I know,
at
only
6.
to enable. Yes.
That's kind of what I'm bouncing between there. Because I definitely like the 3 Baldur's Gate 3 characters more. And I don't know Yakuza, but I'm assuming that Kazama Kiryu is higher for you.
I will... If you say I have to choose between them, I drop Luke in an instant.
Okay.
Like, without hesitation.
Are we talking about Kiryu or Luke in that example?
Oh, Kiryu much higher.
Okay, yeah. But if it's choice between the princess and Luke...
That is a tough one, only because the character is here. Like, if it were just the princess here, I would not cut the princess. But then again, if I had to only pick one Slay the Princess character, I would pick the main character. So...
Interesting.
But explaining why they work requires me to explain Slay the Princess, unfortunately.
I think I know this. I've looked this up. But
Probably.
Just toss out a spoiler warning.
Yep. Well, that's fine. We're going to toss out spoiler warnings for all these. Please consider yourself vulnerable to spoilers from Baldur's Gate 3, Slay the Princess, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, Hi-Fi Rush, and Street Fighter 6.
It's because those last two are definitely very dangerous when it comes to spoiler warnings.
Absolutely. All right, so the idea of Slay the Princess and what I think is utterly brilliant about it is that the princess herself is an isolated aspect of the world, and she is the aspect of change. She is the aspect that allows things to change from where they are. That is why when you kill her, you who have made a choice can no longer be part of the world, but everyone else can exist in a blissful existence of non-decision making. Just like the game is over, the credits have rolled, everything is safe. This, of course, includes the idea of death, because death would change the idea of being alive. You, as a character, on the other hand, are the infinite expanse, an endless now. So you are the status quo of being, a god of no purpose and no existence other than to tell other things that they can happen.
Okay.
And you don't know that. And the narrator is just like a dude who let it happen. Is like, and I made this so that like I could guide you and you would do the thing. But like, I can't do anything. So your decision is ultimately whether to entirely embrace the princess, embrace the idea of things being allowed to change, the world being allowed to change and everything. Embrace the ideals of the narrator where it's like, No, everyone is safe. What are you talking about? Life is perfect. It's a happily ever after. Or to find the humanity within yourself and your aspects and everything that you have caused and found that are just small fragments of you, and use that to connect with the princess, with the character behind it, not the concept. And that's kind of hard to argue. I really like when you hit buttons and go rising uppercut. But on the other hand, I really like hitting buttons and going rising uppercut.
Yeah, what is more valuable? These super in-depth metaphysical concepts intermingling with each other. Or a mod that just has him shout, Christmas! Christmas!
Christmas!
Every time he uses his sign pass.
I'll get it down on Christmas!
I love that exists so much.
Happy New Year.
I think, as much as I adore the thematic elements of having Luke at 6, I do think I love the skill and the ingenuity of Slay the Princess's writing that I would drop Luke here.
Fine, I'll do it. But I need you to know that I was very, very brave.
Right, post the spoiler warning over in the chat. All right, 7 characters left. Your turn.
No, that was my turn.
Oh, you did it yourself?
Did I do it myself? Hang on.
No, that was me. That was me choosing between Luke and Princess. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Okay, we can kill the princess now. Please slay the princess. That's cool.
After all that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
One more. Okay, that's 6.
Yeah, it feels right. Anyway, now we can put Luke back. We could just have Luke twice.
What? Okay, who is number 8? Who is number 7? Luke
is number 7. The princess. Luke is number 8. The princess is number 7. Left is Chai, Yu, Astarion, Gale, Shadowheart, Kiryu.
That's what I was expecting. Okay. All right, that just threw me for a loop. I'm sorry. Okay, so Chai, Yu, and the 3 Baldur's Gate 3. No, sorry, Kazama's there too. Since you were so gracious to kill the princess, I feel like I should sacrifice one of my Baldur's Gate 3 babies. But the one I would do is probably Astarion. The other 2
I will fight you on that one.
I
will fight you so hard.
And I do think, because I think the biggest reason I feel that is that I have not gotten to what I know a general sense of what happens with Astarion. I've seen a short clip where I assume is one of his endings where he's just backing away from the sun as if it's starting to burn him again. And I can only imagine just how awful that would feel if that moment is what I think it is. I also know rough elements of what his relationship is with Cazador, his vampire patron. And just seeing that explored, I can only imagine just how crazy this game is going to take him. But I've had much stronger connections with Gale and Shadowheart, so I think meeting in the middle here, I think I will... let's talk about Gale. I do like Gale.
Hello, you've reached Gale of Waterdeep.
Because the way that they use his character just to show the fun aspects of D&D's magic system is just an absolute delight. From having him create a mirror image of himself to kind of use it as a mirror, kind of check his face for any blemishes or anything like that. The way that if he dies, he has like this pre-recorded like holographic mirror image kind of not mirror, I should know.
Astral projection, yeah.
It's not astral projection either, but
yeah.
There is a oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. What? An illusion. God, I feeling as a DM there.
That's his school of magic, my guy.
I know. I should know this. This should be ingrained in my head.
It really should.
But when he dies, there's like a pre-recorded illusion, just telling anyone nearby, being like, yes, hello. If you are seeing this, I have been killed, and it is vitally imperative that this be fixed very quickly, as if my body is allowed to be dead, something terrible is going to happen. I can't remember if he explains the whole thing about how he's got a magical bomb in his chest, which in and of itself is also a very fun story beat.
He's good.
He presents himself as this really erudite scholar, like, oh yes, I'm the best wizard in the world, but he also has this secret that he has to consume items, otherwise the magic inside of him, there's like this magical, like, black hole that absorbs and he gets near, and if he doesn't feed that, it explodes, wipes out everything nearby you, which is a game mechanic you can use in the game, which is awesome. However,
that sounds like a dick thing to do.
It is a very dick thing to do, but the reason that the big moments that launched Gale up so high on my list personally is around the point of entering the second act of the game. Gale gets visited by one of the wizards he used to know. This wizard has been sent by Gale's past patron. What is her name? She's the goddess of magic, Gale's past lover, who granted him a lot of his powers, who he personally got this magical black hole thing in his chest because he was trying to impress her. He was trying to help her. I think her name's Mizora.
Mm-hmm.
I might have gotten that mixed up with Wyll's patron. A lot of M names in this game. There's also Minthara, who's a character companion you can have. Anyway, he gets visited by this wizard, who basically comes up to him and says, hey, I know you pissed off your ex. Like, you tried to do this thing for her, but it was against what she wanted you to do, and now there's bad blood. But man, you can fix this. All you gotta do is go to the source of all this nasty, evil, like, mind flayer, tadpole control, this nebulous absolute deity. You just gotta go to where they're sourced from and take that thing inside of you and blow yourself up. If you do that, she'll forgive you.
Yeah.
And seeing Gale's reaction to being told that, because he doesn't react with fear or just like the traditional things you'd see from, like, yeah, you gotta go die to make this right. He immediately embraces it as like, oh, this is my purpose now. This is what I need to do. And that just tore my heart in half. Just seeing this
100%.
Who before this point of time has been quite cheerful. Like, he's one of the major sources of brevity, of humor. Like, he's the one that's generally trying to pick your companions back up when they're having, like, bad times throughout their stories. But seeing that facade break apart as he realizes this mistake he's been regretting this entire time, he can fix it, and after he's fixed it, he doesn't have to regret anything anymore. It's that whole psychological kind of, people are a lot more likely to embrace the instant, quick way out that solves all of their problems rather than putting in the hard work of actually improving. And seeing him just kind of break down like that, like, God, that hit me hard. I haven't gotten to the point where he actually has to make that choice, and I imagine that's going to hit me even harder.
Oh, probably.
But seeing something that serious be tackled in that sort of way, that kind of, the option of self-sacrifice, but in a very negative way, like, I don't want to say selfish, because it's selfish in the way of running from your problems rather than solving them. Mm-hmm. Like, that's some deep psychological stuff, and I really, really appreciate what they tried to do with Gale in that way.
Oh no, he has been gaslit by his girl boss so hard. Harder than most men could possibly do.
Toxic relationship, and I really appreciate that they had the skill and the guts to explore it
Yeah.
in that way.
They explore it even further.
I can't wait to see.
There is some good shit waiting for you, my guy.
Cannot wait. And he also has like a cat as well. Like you still have all these other fantastic things about him.
Oh yeah.
But of these three characters, like for what I got from Shadowheart's story, I will leave Gale here at number 6. I'm happy with Gale at number 6.
All right.
So now it's your turn. We're top 5 now.
We're at top 5. You want to pull up just JPEGs of our top 5?
Oh, that'll take me a second. If you talk for a second.
Let's get a visual element while I vamp.
Okay.
Just to help out the folks at home, so that we know who we're talking about, what we're doing. God, the Slay the Princess character is going to be hard. Do you know that they're a freaking bird man?
They're a bird man?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
You just have like weird claws and a bird face and feathers.
Okay. Fun.
It is never explained. It is never brought up. You're just a weird bird man.
Love it.
And it's like, I think that's cool. But yes, to remind everyone, our top 5 characters of the year are Chai from Hi-Fi Rush, the player character from Slay the Princess, Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3, Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3, and Kazama Kiryu from Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
Just rolls off the tongue, that title.
It was pretty good.
Okay,
Peppino number 1. Peppino didn't even make the list, my guy. This year was stacked. We didn't have time for cruddy characters like Peppino, only quality characters like fake Peppino. In all of media.
Okay.
Also in the game, he has Shadow the Hedgehog jet boots and cigarettes that when you light them, he throws them behind him and they explode into a massive AoE bomb. Before this game, he just hit people really, really hard. But they're like, you're a secret agent now, have some virtual Spider-Man tools, and also exploding cigarettes and Shadow the Hedgehog shoes. That is the baseline, and I think that lets him clear to at least top 5. I will go further when necessary.
All right.
I'm willing to cut either Chai or the character from Slay the Princess at this point.
Oh, right, Chai. Oh, that hurts, but it's probably the right call.
I love Chai's performance, and like, you got him over Luke.
Oh, I was always getting him over Luke. There's no way I was letting Luke. Chai does everything I love about Luke, but he does it so much better. Like the way that
I wouldn't say so much better. I would say a little better.
Every single character in the game and improves.
Oh
their
yes. I'm not doing this to belittle
relations.
Chai at all. Chai's great. Like the writing of that character is what makes the game.
Also, Robbie Damon's performance, like, god damn.
Oh, Robbie Damon's performance is incredible.
That the best performance by him? Does that eke out over Goro Akechi for you?
No, but it can be second. Maybe third under Pinstripe Poodaroo from Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. Jury's out on that one, but no. Robbie Damon has the explicit problem of I like every single choice this voice actor is making. I wonder who it is. It's Robbie Damon again.
Okay.
This is par for the course for him.
I do think this is the right call. How do I visually represent the character from Slay the Princess?
Just put like a bird. Just a raven.
Raven PNG. Save image. Sure, this works.
No, it's perfect.
All right, but in that case, let's just talk about Chai for a bit.
Let's, please.
He got to where he should be. It's time to say goodbye, but wow, what a just fantastic character. Because on one hand, you've got the lovable goofball that just immediately captures your heart the second he starts talking. Like, he's such a little ball of energy. He's so stupid, but he's so earnest in every little action he tries to take. But even then, within his first 3 minutes of interacting with him, you get this really, really warm, like almost kind of heartbreaking aspect of his character. The entire reason he's coming to Vandalay Studios? Enterprise? The company.
Vandalay, yeah. The campus, yes.
He's coming here is because he really wants to be in Rockstar, but he's got his arm in a sling. And just immediately your heart just goes out to this character who is so earnest, so passionate about his dream, but physically can't pursue it, so he's come here desperate for his chance to pursue it.
That's okay. He also can't mentally or talent-wise pursue it.
Exactly. And you just immediately start rooting for the guy. You're just immediately captured by him. Just, oh my god, I want this character to get everything he's working towards. And I don't think any other character on this list has such a strong first impression as Chai. And there's some really strong first impressions on this list.
Yeah.
But then you start exploring just all of his lovable interactions, both with his opponents and his friends. And he's the kind of character that doesn't really, like, change or grow throughout the story. The Chai that you see at the end is very much still a lot of the same Chai at the start, but he's the kind of character whose effect that he has on other characters is what it propels the story. It's why, well, not why, it's one of the many reasons that Hi-Fi Rush is so great. Just seeing Pepper being this jaded loner that slowly starts to appreciate Chai as a best friend and, like, really come out of her shell because of that. Seeing him instill Macaron with so much confidence, seeing him bring Corsica over and help her realize that she's doing the wrong thing. It's a
oh
very
my god,
Luffy
that
kind
Corsica
of
sequence is the funniest shit in the world.
It's so amazing. The fantastic boss fight, but then ending that off with just the fact that you have the QuickTime event to catch her after you beat her, and you can just miss that QuickTime event, and the rest of the cast will just berate Travis. Come on, Chai, it was the QuickTime
Oh yes,
event
and then you
right
hit
there.
her head on every obstacle on the way out. Here's
If anybody's ever tried to carry someone, just that initial oh, god damn it, I'm so sorry. Just doing that repeatedly when she's already unconscious, and he tries to be so careful going through that last door, checking all sides. Okay, we're good. And then the door just slams on her anyway.
mm-hmm.
Impeccable comedic timing throughout the entire
No.
game.
Dude is like the peak of Western animation haha funny. Like, this is the Philip J. Fry. This is the peak Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I don't much. Wow, English. I don't have much more to say about him other than that. He's not the most complex character, but he perfectly succeeds at every single element that his character is trying to do. And I love him for that. You got anything else you want to say?
No, I feel like there's no shot that he could clear any of these. Like, we would not reasonably argue him over any of them.
Mm-hmm. I'm just asking more if there's anything you want to praise about him before we move on.
No, body language, run cycle, which was the first thing that they implemented in the game, and it is the best run cycle.
Indeed, just perfectly sells the concept of Hi-Fi Rush from the moment the gameplay starts. Just you start running, and you see him running to the tone of the beat, and it's like, oh yes, this is gonna be fun.
This is the only character I think gameplay-wise clears Luke.
I would agree with that.
Like, if I had to give an individual award to it, I would stick just best gameplay interpretation right onto Chai. Whereas Luke, I would put most improved and I love you. and I would kiss him goodnight.
All right. I believe that was my... God, so it's your turn now.
Was it? Is it mine? Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Me, you, me. No, that was me.
Oh, that was you? Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, that's an odd number. You're evens.
I don't know what to do. Ah. Of these four... From what you have described of Slay the Princess, I think if we're giving out those awards, I think that gets the reward for just most creative and inspiring form of writing. I want to respect that a little bit more. I don't have the context for Yakuza. From where I am sitting, I would start looking at Kiryu next.
All right.
From where
I understand.
So can you explain it? Give me your pitch for Kazama Kiryu.
Yeah, very simple. Step right up if you want to die. Okay. So, Kazama Kiryu is a character that has existed in the Yakuza franchise since its inception in 2006. Since then, we have seen 6 games with him as the starring protagonist, not counting games like Ishin, where he is playing the role of a famous historical figure.
Okay.
So, like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name is a middle of the ground story. It is explaining what was Kiryu up to during Yakuza 7, except for the times where we saw him in Yakuza 7. Like, what was he doing when Ichiban was over there? And you get some fun things. Like, you go to Yokohama when Ichiban is there, and you go to a homeless camp, and they're like, oh yeah, dude, look right over there. A man is dying in that tent. It's weird. Bunch of people are coming in. Don't disturb him, though. He's in critical condition. And you're like, oh, the plot, it's right there. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name is a very simple concept. By the end of Yakuza 6, Kiryu has completely shed his identity. He is, for all intents and purposes, a disappeared man. He has been Better Call Saul'd.
Okay.
That said, he is very, very bad at it. His alias name is Joryu. And everyone calls him out on it and be like, you're Kiryu, aren't you? And he goes, no, that's not me. Kazama Kiryu is dead. But if he were here, he would be very upset. And they're like, come on, you're Kiryu. I have never met you before. Goro Majima comes up to him and is like, I knew you weren't dead. I'm so happy. He's like, this is the first time we've met, but I would be happy too. They fight together and he goes, hey, dude, I know you're going through a lot. And I know I'm like an insane psychopath, but if I can do anything, tell me. Let me help you. Okay, fine. I feel like we've been friends for a really long time and I could help you. And he's like, I feel like that too, even though we've just met.
I'm already loving him.
It is the funniest thing. Kiryu is the most unflappable character in the world. Except when he sings karaoke and he gets really emotional over his good friend, because you know the meme song, the dame dame.
Oh yeah.
Dame o, dame dame o. He sings that to a random photograph that he has in every single game. And sometimes it'll be like his family. Sometimes it's just an empty house. Sometimes it's a dog. This isn't new. No, this is characters who have had any significant development and focusing on just the lens of 2023 alone. This game, it is an NPC from Yakuza 0 called Pocket Circuit Racer. And Pocket Circuit Racer is a guy that Kiryu relentlessly defended from children calling him a virgin. Because he spends his entire time playing with slot cars and doing a slot car league. And Kiryu was like, I really love Pocket Circuit. I adore this. And he defended that man's honor by becoming really good at Pocket Circuit and showing him that there is a life, that you can pursue your hobbies and your dreams, no matter what they are, no matter how small they may seem. If it matters to you, that is what matters. And I will prove it. Me, known thug Kazama Kiryu, by being really good at slot car derby.
Absolutely glorious.
You then meet Pocket Circuit Racer later in the game after you have sung this, and you have to go through we have never met before. I've never done this. This is my first time playing Pocket Circuit. And then now the man, aged but happy, is content with his life, having spread the good word of Pocket Circuit all through Japan in the 30 years of the Yakuza series, goes, that's fine. Would you like to race?
Aww.
And then you race him, and you win. And as a gift, he gives you the first Pocket Circuit car that he ever gave you in the series. The Golem Tiger. He goes, this was the starting machine of a man who really taught me what it meant to live. And it wasn't very good, but he spent the time, he customized it, he thought about it, he put his life on it, and you know what? It means more to me than the world, but I think you could use it more right now.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Like a Dragon Gaiden is just a game of that. Is just a game of Kiryu going back through all of his greatest hits, all of his demons. There is an arena mode where it's like, okay, now we are going to simulate all of the great fights that the Dragon of Dojima, Kazuma Kiryu, went through. So you have to fight like a boss gauntlet from previous games? But then there's a story beat reason, because you have to fight 2 tigers and a shirtless guy. And after you beat him, Kiryu's like, first of all, Kiryu fought those tigers separately. That man would never fight with tigers. He had honor. You are a shitty actor.
Oh, just full on. What's the name of the show at the end of Airbender when they see the stage performance and just like
Ember Island Players?
Yeah, that's the one.
Imagine that, but Aang and Zuko are in the show and the fighting is real.
That's amazing.
I am saying all of this right now to give you the scope of it, plus other fun side quests like Kiryu discovering what AI prompts are and having to fight a man because his AI told him that you should fight the next person that you see.
Sure.
And then Kiryu beating him up and going, well, the AI didn't work. Maybe this technology isn't quite as reliable as we think on, and we should wait for a few years.
Oh, God, I need to play these games.
That is all I can say without spoiling the ending, which is the saddest ending I have ever seen.
Okay, you have convinced me that he is from what you have described, I am enjoying him so much more than, well, at least the character from Slay the Princess.
Yeah, that's fair. I love that character. I love that concept. It is so strong. But the only other one I would be willing to cut here is Shadowheart.
I'm not willing to cut Shadowheart yet.
Okay, then, yeah, that's the only one that I think. Do I recommend Yakuza Kiwami? It is a remake of Yakuza 1, and it is probably the best way to play Yakuza 1 unless you really want to see Mark Hamill as Goro Majima. But otherwise, there is no reason to play Yakuza 1. in its original form. Just know that it's like a shorter game. It's got jank from being a remake of the first game in the series. 0 is a better starting point. Yeah, that's basically it. Just like if you're going to get into Yakuza, pick 0 to start with.
Okay. It is your turn now.
We cut Slay the Princess?
Yes.
All right. Good run. All right.
Kazama, Astarion, Shadowheart.
Yeah, okay. Let's go after Shadowheart. Because
okay,
I have a feeling a Baldur's Gate 3 character is going to die.
Probably. I can... Alright. Let me explain.
No. Let me explain to the chat for 1 second. Yes, Mark Hamill is in Yakuza, but only the first game when they were trying to get bigger actors to promote the series. And when asked, hey, Mark, how you feel about playing Goro Majima now he's popular? He went, who? What?
Doesn't even remember doing it.
I played what? They show him a picture. They show him scenes. He goes, I didn't do this. It was like before AI, so that's not like a thing. He's like,
he just has
no memory.
That's
no
amazing.
recollection whatsoever.
All right. Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shadowheart's my favorite character in Baldur's Gate 3, and there are a variety of reasons for this. First impression of the character, she is... God, do I share? No, I don't share. She is the goth girlfriend that you immediately look at and like, okay, that's the character I'm romancing first. Just immediate first impression. She's the kind of character that you like tell her that like, oh, you're so great, and she's like, I know, but thanks for saying that. Just that kind of smugness, but in a oddly sincere way. I don't know how to quite describe that.
Mm-hmm.
Humble narcissism? I don't know. Anyway, fantastic first impression. Like she is hilarious confidence. Just love every word out of her mouth. Voice actress as well. Just kills her role completely. You learn very quickly that she is a cleric of this deity known as Shar, which in the D&D realm is this very evil, like, goddess of pain and darkness, kind of goddess where, like, you have to experience pain to show your worship through her. Just very, very nasty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she is a very devout member of that religion, so you kind of support her throughout it, being like, okay, yeah, like, this stuff you're saying is a little weird, but, like, we'll go through this. Like, you're still trying to do the right thing. It seems like you still kind of seem like a decent person. Keep going through the game, kind of keep seeing various, like... idols of Shar, find remains of other worshippers kind of to progress through her story. And you start getting little hints and pieces of what Shadowheart's backstory might have been. Just weird clips of memories of like, oh, here's her as a little girl doing, like, holy symbols that aren't Shar's. It's Shar's rival, in fact. Like, what's going on here? She doesn't seem to know what to make of it. There's a lovely little mystery going on there. Till you get to about, I'd say about 2/3 of the way through Act 2, where Shar goes through this big gauntlet of, like, proving her worth to her deity. Like, okay, we're going through, like, the whole set of rituals. This is how you become, like, hit the next level of your devoutness. Go through trials of mind, of body, of spirit, of all this kind of stuff, ending off with her being gifted a holy spear from her deity and sent off to kill this remaining, how do I explain this? Like, this person that's a bastion of, like, the holy light of her rival. And she gets to this person, prepares to make the strike, and the person says, hey, I know what's going on with you. I know what's really going on with you. Wouldn't you like to know too? And you have two choices here, which your player can kind of urge Shadowheart to go in one direction or the other. She can either carry out the deed and fully embrace Shar's influence, or she can toss the spear aside and start to question, like, wait, what's going on here? I'm going to back up a little bit here. Because Char's story in this game is a story about a decent person that is stuck in a fanatical organization, which resonates me extremely so. I grew up in a very religious organization.
I get
so
you.
I'm immediately seeing like a lot of mirrors of just like, oh no, this is gonna hit me very hard. Because I've actually played with Shadowheart through multiple paths, or at least through the first act. I've seen how she reacts to really trying to be an evil playthrough versus trying to play through as herself, or trying to kind of question things, right? And you constantly see her as this person, like she wants to do the right thing, but everything that she's being taught is pointing in the opposite direction. Like, for example, if you side with the goblins in the first act, when you're trying to clear out the druid circle and kill the tieflings there, she will do it. But after you have gone through that act and find her back at the camp, she is just drinking herself into a stupor. Just very sardonically, bitterly talking about, why are we celebrating this? There's no glory in killing children. Still having done the act, but just mentally, just inside, just torn apart because she doesn't know which direction she's supposed to go in. And watching her make that decision to start tossing aside everything she's known, and the immediate backlash of just everything that she's known crumbling around her, like seeing her god disown her, seeing her mental states like slowly like shatter as like she has nothing else, like everything she's built on was a lie.
God, it's just like Walter White.
Fucking hell. But God, I felt that. I've experienced that. That hit me. Like, that's up there with, like, Persona 4 Hangman Confidant of, wow, you really just went there.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that immensely. I cannot wait to see how that develops further as she has to start dealing with the consequences of, okay, all these people who I've been brothers and sisters with my whole life, they are now going to hate me because of the single decision that I've made.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of like Shadowheart. Just a bit.
Okay.
And that's on top of being the most sardonic little self-described God's favorite princess, and still being the most adorable, hilarious, and likable character despite having that kind of attitude.
Yep.
Like, imagine if Juri was, like, lovable. And not in the, like, the kind of, like, she is just hilarious and lovable, but in a really sweet way of, like, okay, yeah, you have this personality, but you've got a heart of gold underneath there.
Well, then I wouldn't like the character in the same way I like Juri.
Yeah.
I like Juri because she's a fucking gremlin.
You know what I mean.
If she were, like, sympathetic, I would stop liking the character in the same way. But, like, I understand what you mean, that you really like this girl. Like, I get it.
No, yeah, it's a... just the kind of story that just resonates with you. I would be okay with leaving her at 3, just because the insanity of Astarion's everything, just vocal presentation, the directions his story takes. Like, there's a reason he wins every single award. But from...
No, I want to argue Astarion. How much of his story do you know?
I know... okay. I know the various abuses that he's dealt with, like, living with Cazador. Like, physical, sexual, all of that. He has been... the reason that he's like this for so long is partially because he has been hurt so much by having just all these trials put on him that he doesn't really know how to act any other way. I don't quite know how his stories end. I've seen little bits and clips.
Ending doesn't concern me. Do you have more of the story of how he was turned?
I do not have the story of how I was turned. I'm okay. I think I'm okay with it being spoiled if you want to explain it.
Lovely. Yeah, that would be the core. I'm not intending to spoil endings, even though I think those are great. But so Astarion to me is, I love vampire fiction. I truly do. I think that it's such a fantastic form of storytelling that came from just sort of fear and dissatisfaction with aristocracy. It's the idea of being scared of people with silver tongues and the ability to manipulate you in a realm that you can't possibly understand. The simple idea of someone has their charisma stat too high, oh God, what do I do? Mm-hmm. Like, I think that creates some of the most brilliant fiction in the idea of temptation and belief and the idea of the human psyche. And Astarion to me is a very, very strong both celebration of and deconstruction of that concept. One of the strongest I've seen. Mm-hmm. Basic idea of him being, his various abuses and his ideas, the idea that he has, in a sense, been elevated as a vampire, but the one who has turned him has made him into both a physical, sexual, and mental plaything. Mm-hmm. They are his to shape as they feel. When you arrive at the site of his abuse, you will see multiple people who were also turned. And some of them will go up to Astarion and go, do you remember me? And Astarion will go, yes, I remember you. And he will recount exactly how he seduced them, what he promised them, all of the honeyed words he put into their ears, what he did to ruin their lives, to bring them to their knees, to put them in the position that he was in while he was still being abused. And he will go through every bit, and he will say it clinically. He will say it disassociating. He will just be gone. It will just be facts of what happened to him. Mm-hmm. And it is you who has to sort of nudge him on how to feel sorry for that again. How do you even begin to address the trauma that you caused others, even though that you have trauma of your own? How to even start to do that. And, I love the idea of, Larian playing off of everyone being thirsty for him and giving him this horrendous background of just, oh, you think he's sexy? Yeah, about that. Don't. But the strongest thing is that Astarion is a very easy character to romance. Mm-hmm. Like, he is
effortless.
Yeah. Very, very simple.
Which is hilarious, because the projection dialogue is just some of it's hard to get, but if you go up to at the Goblin camp wanting to romance him, doesn't care about you. And he was like, oh, but it's not you, it's me. I have standards, you see. Mm-hmm. It's just, God, what a charismatic dude.
No, funniest damn character in the game on top of all this. But if you manage to stay off, but are like, okay, I'm waiting for the right moment where he's like at his lowest, where he has had to face himself, face his abuse and everything around him, you can go up to him and, you can embrace him and you can give him a loving relationship. Or you can go, I think what you need is a friend. And he looks up at you and the sincerest voice goes, a friend? I don't think I've ever really had one of those before. I think I'd like that.
Aww. I think I've seen that particular clip. Just gets the hug, and he just doesn't know how to react to it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, your heart goes out to him.
100%. And that is what strikes me. The idea of all of the concepts of a vampire's temptation, all of the ideas of a vampiric story, and destroying that for a non-sexual relationship, destroying that for just the simple fact of, yeah, but emotionally I care. And that is vampire fiction to me. That is the human heart overcoming everything that honeyed words and silver tongues can possibly offer. And that, I think, that is incredible. Now, if your personal connection goes greater than that, I understand that. That is fine.
Mm.
But I do feel like this is the strongest overall package that took exactly one game to tell.
I would agree with that. Like, I knew bits and pieces, but the fact that he goes up to, like, the various people that he has harmed in that way, and just the way that he interacts with them, I don't know that element of it, and that is...
Yeah.
I have so much respect for the writers over at Larian. I think they're some of the, like, in terms of the industry, I don't know if I call them the absolute best, because I just don't have enough context for the rest of them. But wow! The stories they're willing to tell blow my mind.
I agree.
Like, I do have a stronger connection with Shadowheart's story personally, but I think Astarion's is the most impressive, the best performed, easily. Like,
yes, yeah.
God damn it.
To say nothing about any other performance, because all of the performances here are incredible.
Baldur's Gate 3 has the best performances out of any game this year. I would make that claim in a heartbeat. For how much dialogue is in that game, and how it is all amazing across the board, no matter how inconsequential the character is. I don't know who voice directors those games, but they're on another level. It's insane. Yeah, I am okay with cutting Shadowheart here. It feels cliche given how the rest of these award stories have gone, but like Astarion is.
That's okay. I have a fucking final boss for him.
I would be fascinating to hear it. I don't believe you can do it, but I would love to hear this fantastic, saddest moment that could possibly put Kiryu above Astarion.
Spoilers for everyone for Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, and the entire Yakuza series.
Alright.
Because here we fucking go. So yeah, this reduced me to a sobbing mess. So you're well aware that my favorite game is Persona 4.
Yes I am.
You're well aware of the character of Nanako Dojima.
Yes I am.
Okay, great. Then you'll know where I'm going with this.
Oh.
So the connections that you make to other characters mean a significant deal. In the Yakuza franchise, Kiryu is a character who has given up a significant deal. As you would expect for a crime drama, love interests have died for him. Friends have died for him. People who he has made very strong and very caring connections to have died left and right. And you feel that through this game. There are like karaoke songs that he once sung with friends from the series who are now dead that he just has to sing alone now and have memories of the times they had. The whole game is reflective of that. Kiryu was adopted by his father figure, who ran an orphanage called Sunshine Orphanage. So ever since Yakuza 3, Kiryu has been sort of the main contributor and backer of this orphanage. And the kids in there, they love Uncle Kaz. They love him. Like, he doesn't show up. He's very stoic a lot of the time, but he's legitimately trying to do a good thing for them. And that comes down to Kiryu's bond with a character named Haruka, who is a little girl who he has protected through the entire series. And through the series, we have seen her grow up from a little girl to, like, there was like an idol mini game with her in her teen years in Yakuza 5. Mm-hmm. We have seen this character develop and mature in real time with the series. Very Toy Story 3.
Okay.
In that sense. To the point of having a baby. And in Yakuza 6, Kiryu's whole thing is that he has this baby and he's got to protect this baby. And he's going to go through hell or high water to protect this baby. Oh my God. He's going to throw like a football across the room and catch it. He's going to save this baby from the exploding cars all over around it. Because this baby is the one little part of his life that he can still hold on to. Because for reasons that he absolutely has no control over, he cannot be with the people that he loves. But he can save this baby and get it to where it is. And then he has to die again at the end of the game. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And just completely erase his identity. He is hired by a government agency that has disappeared him, being like, okay, you got to do these couple of jobs for us. And as a reward, they will do some of the cruelest things that I've ever seen in my life, wherein they will hand him a phone and he will pick up and it will be Haruka on the other line. And she'll go, okay, hello? And he can't say anything. He's dead. And if he says a word, she is now in danger. So he just has to listen. And she go, hello? Okay, I'm hanging up now. And he has to sit there and take it. This is nothing. That was like, this is sad, but whatever. He has a scene where he reminisces about the woman that he was going to marry and the only person and how they died because of his life. And he's like, you know, she would have really loved to go to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. She said that was the perfect place to get married. Guess where the next game takes place? But final scene of the game. Kiryu has done everything. He has stopped a Yakuza uprising. He has let the events of Like a Dragon happen. Mm-hmm. Which I will not spoil because that's a lot to explain. I have to unpack all of the Yakuza lore for that. Mm. But he is handed a tablet and he gets to see a recording of the children that he had raised, putting flowers on his grave and saying their best wishes to him. Oh. And then they look to their side and they find the camera. They find the spy camera that's looking at them. And they start going, hey, Uncle Kaz. No, we knew you weren't. No one at the orphanage believes that you're dead. Nobody there believes it. Like, come on, dude. It's okay. And then they start talking to him. They start saying how they're all grown up now. They're full adults. One is like, I became a firefighter because I want to save people like you. And, you know, it's a difficult start, but like, I'm getting there. I'm going to get there. And you should see, you remember that baby? They're 4 years old now. They're 4. Like, oh my gosh, they're like taking their first steps, saying their first words.
I'm feeling
it's amazing. And then
of dread of where this is
a protracted continuation of it. And Kiryu, who in every image that you've seen of him is the most stoic character, is sobbing in the most uncontrollable, high-definition way I have ever seen. Like, you know the ugly cry where you are shaking and snot is dripping down your face?
Yeah.
That rendered in the highest fidelity that you can possibly get in this day and age. Like, it is harrowing how strong of a cry this is. And they're like, okay, don't worry, we'll bring everyone tomorrow. And the agent informs them, yeah, you were compromised, so we had to take the camera down. But they did leave this, and he hands them a roll, and he unfurls the roll, and it is a drawing done by the baby in crayon of everyone at the orphanage, including Kiryu, done in the ugliest way possible. And Kiryu looks at it and he goes, I missed his steps. I miss him being able to speak. It's been 4 years. And they're okay. They don't need me. No one ever needed me.
Oh, that's hard. That's really...
This is a person who we have seen for 17 years, I believe, go through the worst that life can offer them, laughed and cried, and at the end of his road, he knows that people love him. He is incapable of reciprocating, and all that he has done might have not been necessary, might have not been worth it. And this is the Kiryu that we're following into Infinite Wealth.
Wait, hold on. This is the character that in the first trailer for the game, this is also the character that it's just a constant, like, dick joke the entire way through, where he washes up nude on the beach. Or is that something?
No, that's Ichiban.
Okay.
No, that's Ichiban.
The total shift.
No, this is the dude that in the game just decides, fuck it, I don't want to do turn-based combat, and just does regular Yakuza combat. For a little bit as a super. He's like, it's okay, Ichiban. We'll help you find that crab. But he's going to Hawaii because it's what his dead lover would have wanted.
Jesus.
And then the credits have the gall to play Amazing Grace. In the only time in fiction where I feel it is earned, because it comes from a place of self-loathing. Like, please understand, the only reason that I think Kiryu should not win is because he might win next year.
Oh my god. That is... It's...
It is paced, framed, and acted to perfection.
Based on the history of the Yakuza series, just playing through the games, is it a valid conclusion for him to make that it was all for nothing? Or is he just at the worst point of his life and being hard on himself because of that? Or is that up to
He is at the worst point of his life. However, you know, just due to being in a criminal organization, you could say that he did the best that he possibly could and was dealt the hardest hand any man has ever been dealt.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, if these kids' lives were not influenced by the Yakuza, there would be a different story. And that is the reality that he's gripping with.
Yeah, the entire time you're describing that, I just had this rising feeling of dread of just like, okay, when's the reveal they're dead and it was all for nothing? When is it? This is going to hurt so much. I wasn't expecting it not to be that, and to hurt even worse than that would have.
Uh-huh.
God damn.
It's not sad because of action. It's sad because of self-reflection.
Oh.
Like, the only caveats that I have to this character are, again, that it took 17 years to tell the story, and it might end in, like, a month and be even sadder.
That's the main debate going through my head right now as well. Just being like, okay, everything Astarion is and does was accomplished in a single game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the emotional payoff of what you've described of Kiryu's story hits harder. That is largely part of build-up throughout multiple games across many years.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, like, I can't undo the emotional impact that Toy Story 3 had on me for releasing when it did.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Like, this is why I want to keep past characters who have been in other games in debates like this. And like this, I did check to see, like, are other people reacting in the same way? And the reaction is like, no, yeah. And trust me, this is hard for me to say because Like a Dragon, the original, had a pretty fucking sad ending. And I'm like, this can't be sad. Oh my god! Like, it is not often that I will finish watching a game and go, no, I need a minute to just...
I agree. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that's happened to me in a video game. It's rare. But when it hits you, I think it hits harder than any other media form can. There's a level of investment and of being in the situation that just isn't quite there with, like, books or movies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To be perfectly honest with where my mindset is right now, I could honestly pick either and be happy with the outcome.
That's where I'm at, and that's hard.
I know.
But, like, one of them has to win.
Because what they do is so phenomenal. Like, as you said, the complete deconstruction of, like, the thematic elements of, like, classic vampire stories. The disassociation of Astarion. Like, God, the way you describe was just robotically describing all of the horrible things he's done in his life because he can't even manage to comprehend. He can't... Like, you've had, like, what is it, 50 hours of gameplay before them where he's just being the suave, like, oh, I don't care about anything because everything about this is fun. I just want to kill some people. Like, maybe we make a deal with that devil. Maybe we don't. I can handle it.
Yeah.
But then you compare that with the saddest fucking thing I've ever heard described to me in any form of media, coming from Yakuza, which... The things that you've described
it's really good
prior to this, in terms of what Yakuza is, I didn't know.
Yeah, remember when I opened with Kiryu going, yeah, he has Shadow the Hedgehog shoes now? No, set things on fire?
You need to understand, the mental image you've built up for me of what Yakuza is the goofiest horseshit that you've ever seen from gaming.
It is the goofiest horseshit that you've ever seen.
I didn't know that had also, like, the most...
It's reduced me to a sobbing mess.
Fucking hell!
It's a really good series.
I think, based on what you've described, what I've experienced of Astarion, I would give it to Kiryu for two major reasons. The first one is, again, I have just never heard that level of just simultaneous emotional gut punches described for really any form of media ever. And
I can link it to you right after if you want.
I would... Actually, no. I want to play this game now. I want to experience... Like, I think you just pushed me over the bar. I don't have time for video games, but I think Yakuza is just dropped up to, like, honestly, second after Baldur's Gate. I will play Yakuza now because
that's going to be a real big fucking time commitment.
No. It is not
like
going to be something I can experience for a long time But I want to experience this, like, from the build-up throughout the games. This seems wonderful enough that I want to feel this in the form it was intended. The second reason I want to give it to Kiryu is because Astarion has won literally every other... and I want to share some respect to a character that hasn't been talked about as much. It's a little meta, but I feel like that's... Those combination of those two things push it over for me to give it to Kiryu over Astarion.
Man, you're going to be real embarrassed when you catch up on Yakuza by next year. And we have to give it to Kiryu again.
No, that's going to be so funny. Are you kidding me?
And we'll be here and we'll be like, okay, we can't possibly give it to Kiryu twice, can we?
Oh, but can we, though? That would be so funny.
Imagine, like, yep, our top 5 all time. Let's go. We got D, Orsted, Kiryu, Astarion, and Kiryu for a second time.
But isn't that such a Yakuza kind of ranking there? That sounds fun to me. But yeah, it's
your choice, so
no,
I can't do anything.
I'm cutting Astarion. I think this is what, based on what I've described from both characters, this feels right to me.
This was the second best ending I could have hoped for. The other best ending was that all 4 Baldur's Gate 3 characters would make the top 5, and just Kiryu also there.
I'm making shift things around if you want. No.
I'm so happy with this. You like gave me exactly what I wanted in every place.
No, and I feel good about this. Baldur's Gate 3 got the lion's share of the entries. Like, it's literally a third of what our list. But we got a nice variety in terms of who made the top 5. And that feels good. I like it. And Chai caught top 5.
Luke got top 10. That was the big thing. My big things were get Luke as high as possible and get Kiryu higher than that.
Nice. You succeeded on all accounts. Well done.
I did.
So for those at home, listing from lowest to highest, our top 15 video game characters of 2023 are Fake Peppino from Pizza Tower, number 15. Isaac Clarke, the Dead Space remake, number 14. Wyll from Baldur's Gate 3 at number 13. Peter Parker, Spider-Man 2 at 12. How do you say his name? Dion Lesage?
Dion Lesage?
Yeah, Dion
like
Lesage,
yeah,
from Final Fantasy 16 at 11. Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man 2 at number 10. Karlach, Baldur's Gate 3 at number 9. Sorry, wrong one. Luke from Street Fighter 6 at number 8. The Princess from Slay the Princess at number 7. Gale of Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate 3, number 6. Chai from Hi-Fi Rush at number 5. You, the character You, from Slay the Princess, number 4. Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3 at number 3. Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3 at number 2. And Kazama Kiryu. You're gonna have to say the name of the title of the game again, because I've already forgotten.
Kazama Kiryu from Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name as the greatest video game character of 2023. We did it, people. Anime is real and better than Western RPGs.
Gotta love it.
Suck it, Otachi fans. No Pikmin 4.
It's Ochi, not Otachi.
Whatever.
Alright, and that is the list. What the hell are we doing for the rest of this episode?
I don't know. I don't have news. I don't have anything. Do you have comments?
Do we have comments?
Do we have people who are still viewing?
Got several, actually.
View number didn't go down. How'd that happen?
Because you were describing one of the greatest video game story things I've ever heard.
Well, yeah, but the last time I did that, people were like, is this poetry? When I was talking about Fat Morgan's house. House in Fata Morgana.
I don't have a bonus stage, but I will say I watched Blue-Eyed Samurai. That is a fantastic show. Would highly recommend.
Ooh, okay. No, I did get recommended that. When I was sick, I finished all of Better Call Saul.
Nice. Yeah, we do have a couple of comments.
All right, yeah. Let's go for it.
Some comments.
Let's go for it. Yeah. If you're still here, and I'll do chat. We're doing comments now.
Transition.
Oh no, my chat just froze. That's why.
Okay. Get some background music. I haven't felt the need to play background music for like the last 40 minutes. It's because the content's been that good. Alright, from Geekso. How long do you guys think it'll take until video game genres get super niche and hyper-specific like what's already happened with music? For example, Bastion only being considered a beat-em-up, while composer Darren Korb considers its soundtrack acoustic frontier trip-hop.
We're there now?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like, can you think of something that's less useful than a video game genre?
Well, it's just a Souls-like. There's no other description you can give it to that. This is an RPG.
Action-adventure game.
I feel like this is less a question of how long it will take and more just like how pedantic is the community you're having this conversation willing to be.
Right. Like, for instance, Vampire Survivors just essentially created a new genre in the past year. And for a while, we just called them Vampire Survivors clones, like we used to. Mm-hmm. But now we call them Bullet Heaven. And I just had an argument with Gooms where he says that's a stupid-ass name because it doesn't properly flip the perspective of being the Toho boss. It's just, there's a lot of bullets, but they're good. And I'm like, yeah, but it's the power fantasy. And then he went, well, yeah, but all games are power fantasies. I went, yeah, but not in the way that it's intended. It's the swarm of bullets. It's supposed to be good. The bullets make you feel good. What you're trying to hit is what hurts you. Therefore, it's a bullet heaven. The bullets feel good. It feels like heaven, and you're slowly growing for it. And the only reason I'm saying this is that so all of you can continue to prove me right and go that Bullet Heaven is a great name for a genre.
I love it, honestly. Like, I love the mirroring of that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not all video games are power fantasies. I played Alien Isolation.
Yeah. Papers, Please is my favorite power fantasy.
It also has a second part of the question, which I will continue on with because it's hilarious.
Okay.
Give a tier list for different kinds of rocks. I don't think you can, I'm not willing to go through a whole tier list, but what are some great rocks out there? Not as in the genre of music, as in boulders.
As in characters who are boulders, or as in, like
the actual geology rock.
Obsidian is pretty cool, but shout outs to Sisyphus's boulder. I think that's a really strong boulder, really strong rock in the case of rocks. I think it beats out Geodude.
Oh yeah, totally agree with that. Jade's neat. Big fan of Jade. A lot of cool things you can do with Jade.
The monolith from 2001 is pretty good. I think that people tier it a little bit high. I feel like the bone has a lot to do with the monolith's perceived strength, but I think we can still slot in the monolith as a solid B tier rock. Oh, Giant Soldier of Stone is pretty good. He's a level 3, but he has 2,000 defense.
I love it. Mithril from The Lord of the Rings is fantastic, but Mithril from Rings of Power is stupid and I hate it. You can put those diametrically opposed on whatever tier list this is.
Rock Candy from Super Mario RPG is a really strong item, and you should respect it.
Rock candy in general is also delicious, and I love it.
It's okay. Oh, that Everstone that one girl had in Gen 4? Yeah, no. Fuck that Everstone. That's the worst stone. Bad rock. No, you're so right. You know what's so screwed up about it is that there's a trade for a Machoke in Gen 1, and that works just fine. It's the exact same thing. So the series has already told you how to do this, and now they just screw you up by being, hey, you want this Haunter? The worst!
It's so funny, though.
In retrospect, it's funny.
From Magic Ice, with the next one being about everyone's favorite characters, I'll ask a character-related question. What, to you, defines an anti-hero, and what makes a good anti-hero, while listing some of your favorites? To me, it's a tricky term to define because it could not apply to many characters depending on the definition, and often characters move in and out of being anti-heroes. An example is Louis from Pikmin. Would you consider him an anti-hero or just a straight-up villain? Can't answer that. Haven't gotten to the end of Pikmin 4. I know he's tangentially related. Or primarily related. Probably primarily related. I don't know. Haven't finished the game.
I feel that an anti-hero, in a simple definition, is a character that moves outside of the lessons that a story wants to teach, or that would be best for the world of the story, but progresses in a way that opposes the worst outcome for the story.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, friend of this episode of the podcast, Walter White, is a great anti-hero, in spite of being a horrible piece of shit of a person. Like, in any other story, he is the villain. He is just lucky that there is bigger villain. And there are, like, 3 tiers of bigger villain above him before he assimilates them as, like, now I am the biggest villain.
Mm-hmm. For me, it is a very hard metric to gauge.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it, like, an exact rubric of anything. Like, people call Deadpool an anti-hero, and that's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but what?
Sure. Well, because he's edgy and kills people and stuff, and heroes wouldn't do that.
I think oh gosh, this is like I'm trying to look up like examples, and I'm not even finding like the examples given to me I agree with being anti-heroes.
No, I know. People will go like, oh yeah, the anti-hero, Batman.
No, that's stupid.
But I think that a good anti-hero will... I think a good anti-hero needs to have the ability for the audience to either question if, are they right? Like, I feel like people mistake what makes a good anti-hero and what makes a complex villain.
Yeah.
Because a villain with believable motivations has been very much touted as the hallmark of a good villain in the past several years. I disagree with that. I think that can be an element of a great villain, and that can work very well for it. But I think that, simply put, a villain's purpose is to provide a strong contrast to the morals of the hero. Mm-hmm. An anti-hero fits somewhere in the middle, but still in opposition to a villain's ideas and portrayals. Whereas an anti-villain is the flip side of that, going closer to the villain's portrayals, but, like, they're nice. They're cool. Kronk's a good anti-villain.
Yes. It's also difficult because oftentimes the anti-hero will often transition into being a straight-up villain. Like, I feel like there's a solid, like, 5 missions of the human campaign of Warcraft 3 where Arthas is a really good anti-hero, but
I agree.
That has a slow transition into being the outright villain.
I agree. That's the anti-hero feels like a transitionary phase, unless the character's story never ends.
Gosh. I'm sorry to have so much dead space right now, but...
No, it's fine. Shadow the Hedgehog was really good in his first appearance.
I'm seeing Kratos suggested a lot. I don't think... In the first 3 games, I assigned him just straight up, like, more villain than hero. Like,
I would say that there are no good people in those first 3 God of War games.
Yeah, but once you get into the Norse stuff, he's just straight up the hero.
Yeah, he's just dealing with a lot of regret and whatnot.
Yeah.
I guess Joel?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. Like,
I don't want to say Joel, because I don't love him, but he fits the bill.
Yeah. That one moment at the end of Last of Us, the first one.
Yeah, that everyone knows, yeah.
Remake. Like, gosh, I find Neil Druckmann so pretentious, but I do think that was a very excellently set up moral quandary of, like, who was right in this instance.
No, I agree. Saul Goodman.
Why is this the Breaking Bad theme stream?
Bro, I was sick and I watched 4 seasons of Better Call Saul.
Venom
but I thought it would be really funny if I kept it going.
Depends on the story he's in. And even then, it depends on what part of the story he's in.
Mm-hmm. And screw all those people who told me Bowser is an anti-hero. Shut up. Or that he's best as an anti-hero. No! No, he's an asshole.
I feel like a couple of the characters from The Boys kind of shift into that state every now and again. Butcher especially. Like, he can argue he's doing the right thing, but for fucked up reasons. I appreciate that. I don't know. I think the... I see someone suggesting Meta Knight.
When?
Well, he was
because he did terrorism one time?
And become purely altruistic since?
Meta Knight's been good after he cut down on the terrorism. You know what? Good arc of anti-hero to straight-up hero. Barrett Wallace, Final Fantasy VII.
Hey! I like that. Yeah.
Because that's a person doing the right thing for the wrong reasons in the wrong way, and then a bad thing happens, and he realizes maybe I should cut it out, but not quite yet. And he's willing to ride or die on his morals until the very last second where he sees where his self-destructive path is leading and decides to fall on the right scale. That, I think, is a very solid transition of an anti-hero arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just seeing, like, examples of, like, oh yeah, Robin Hood is a fantastic anti-hero. Like, no, that's just chaotic good. That's not the same thing. I don't know. The conclusion is it's a nebulous term that's about as useful as video game genres.
Yes.
Oh, right. There were a lot of comments that were less asking questions and more listing off their own favorite characters, and I think given the theme of this episode, it's worth reading some of those off.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, go for it.
Bino Nintendo says, Viola from Cassette Beasts is my favorite new character from this year, but I can't say too much about her without spoiling the plot of the game. All of the Cassette Beasts party members are like that to some extent, but Viola's is probably the most extreme example. No idea what cassette piece is, but cool. Camp the MVP brings Peppino Spaghetti. Best
He's
boy
good.
from an indie game this year. Even without dialogue, he's super expressive and grows from nervous wreck to I'm sick of your shit, and it's the greatest thing ever. Also brings chai, because it's chai.
Chai.
Everyone loves chai.
Chai. Chai. Chai. Chai. Chai.
Also brings up the dynamic between Leon Kennedy and Ashley Williams, which it is a fantastic dynamic.
Yes.
Like, it's not that much different from what the original was, but in the ways it is different, it's impressive how they completely shifted it from annoying fetch quest escort mission to I'm going to protect you with every fiber of my being, and it still feels like the same dynamic despite doing so.
I like that Leon is no longer romancing the teenager.
That is also much appreciated.
They are now good friends and dorks, and I love that.
Yeah. Love the whole tone of that game. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then just throws out Peter Griffin Fortnite is funny and hilarious and is worth mentioning. I'd agree with that.
Okay, that was funny until I saw Frieza and Cell doing all the Fortnite dances, and that was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So Peter Griffin is no longer as funny as Final Form Frieza in his pink or his purple lipstick, lip syncing to all of the greatest hits of today. And shaking he little emperor ass for all to see.
Fedora 1776 has a couple of them. Some of which I think are very much worth mentioning. Toshiro from Persona 5 Tactics.
Yes,
I want to see the most on the list. Who looks him up? I just want to see him get the attention he deserves. I mentioned Yoshida from the original Persona 5. They make him a bit younger, so we see this politician grow into be a better human. Add Warden to the story, with each arc being a piece to the puzzle for the bigger picture. Also make him a loser, and what you get is one of my favorite characters we introduced in these spin-offs.
That's a tall order because I love a majority of the spin-off characters. Like, I think that Persona has an exceptional track record at adding characters. Like, there is Sho and Marie, who are not very good, and then everyone else across the board is usually at least great.
I love Zenkichi so much. I was not expecting to love him as much as I did, but holy shit, what a great character.
I love Zenkichi. I love Labris. I love Ray. Just going Kasumi and Maruki? God damn.
Mentions Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. Will say, fantastic glow up for the character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow, did they they fix him? Loves the gameplay. He's a fun character experience. It was the entire reason they picked up Xenoblade 3 again. Well, just wanted to mention him. I do respect trying to the way that Future Redeemed continued the Xenoblade story. I feel like Monolith Soft in general has a bad habit of wanting to set up too much for the next game without resolving anything they're doing right now. It just creates this endless loop of just, okay, mystery box now, what's gonna happen here, Let me feeling unsatisfied with their stories moving forward. But I do still appreciate most of the narratives.
Well, it's nice when they do pay it off.
Oh, no, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Shout out to Daisy from Super Mario Wonder. It's just neat that she's getting into more stuff. Do agree with
I
that.
like that they gave them all unique voice lines and changed most of the voice actors.
I like what this might entail for the future of the Mario series. They're being a little... I mean, it's a low bar given the precedent Mario has set, but being a bit more relaxed with how the characters are portrayed, trying out new things. I feel like Mario is a goldmine for so many storytelling opportunities if they just have a little more ambition with it. And this one is funny because of how you'll react to it, but I do kind of agree with the mention, is Baraka from Mortal Kombat 1.
That ain't Shang Tsung. That ain't Shang Tsung. Get out of here.
Yeah, but the way that the Tarkat
No, you can get out right now. You could have said
like,
Melina.
good,
you could have said Shang Tsung. Those are two characters that you could have said other than Baraka. Emelina would have gotten you to the same place.
I think I like Rock
I get what you're going for. At the same time, oh no, this is a man with cancer, but the cancer gives him bone powers. That's a really cool concept. What are we going to do? Right in the trash midway through the game? You got it!
Shang Tsung was very funny in that game, though. Some of the best facial expressions were just like, okay, we're going to take this snippet and then just give it to all the meme makers out there in the world.
Mm-hmm. The smuggest face. I cannot replicate it.
Alright. And that's all the character list we've got
Okay,
here.
I do want to shout out in general Alan Wake 2, which I was unable to get to this year. But especially with the passing of Alex Casey / Max Payne's actor. Mm-hmm. The fact that he got to get that game's honeymoon period and it was good does warm my heart. You know, best to his family, but that's an experience that I was unable to have, and that's... If I had experienced it, you would see Alan Wake characters on here. I love the original game. I love the original game, and from what I've heard that this game does, there is no shot that they don't rank well.
Indeed. I've never played the first Alan Wake, but I played Control and adored that game. Mm-hmm. And just from the little bonkers snippets that I've seen from Alan Wake 2, like that game goes places.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do need to play Alan Wake 1 immediately before playing it. Like, it assumes that you played Alan Wake 1 last week.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And I think with that, we'll wrap it up for this special episode of Design Dorks Gaiden. We have our character lists. We have reminisced and are now ready for whatever this next year has in store for us.
Absolutely. Oh my god, Persona and Yakuza are coming out within a week.
Oh, right.
Of each other.
I guess we can just, like, since we didn't do it during the news segments, just what are you looking forward to during this year?
Those two games.
Otherwise.
Those two. That's the big one. I'm looking forward to the launch of the Donkey Kong amusement park in Universal Studios Japan, because that will make me cry if I go there.
You've just actually found Elysium. It's here. It exists.
Dude, I've wanted that since I was like 2. I will break down shaking Donkey Kong's hand.
I think on my end, I really want to play Black Myth Wukong. Like, it's rare to see that style of mythology brought to life through video game animation. I really want to see just how everything's translated over.
Absolutely.
Excited for the new Prince of Persia. Kind of similar reasons.
Yeah, that looks good. I don't know if I can justify $50 price tag, but it looks really good.
And
or giving Ubisoft full price in general, but...
And Stormgate, the ex-RTS Blizzard devs, probably coming out this year. Really can't wait for that. It'll be nice to see if they can recapture that spark of Warcraft 3 and the original StarCraft.
I am really looking forward to seeing how bad Skull and Bones will be.
Yes! I can't believe that game... Well, no, it has to come out. That was like the whole Singapore law.
Yeah, legally, it needs to come out, and it needs to be good. And I can't wait to see it not do one of those things.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Not video games. Tangentially related. Arcane Season 2. Probably what I'm looking forward to the most this year. Did you hear that they're putting Ambessa into League? Mel's mom?
No.
She's gonna be a champion.
Cool. Good.
It's just cool. But yeah.
Good shit.
2204's got some cool stuff on the horizon, and we'll be with you all through it to talk about a small fraction of that because there's too many video games coming out and not enough time to tackle them all.
I can't wait for all of you to come back here and listen to me talk about the same goddamn Mario games that I've been talking about for the past 2 years. Can you guys wait for me to talk about Pokemon Puzzle League again?
They will be waiting with bated breath.
You'd think I would run out of things to say, but guess what, bucko? No shot.
All right, but thank you all.
Love you guys. Thank
so
you.
much for watching.
Thank you for sticking around.
We appreciate your patronage and spending the time with us to gush about all these wacky topics.
Yes. We appreciate you even more if we happen to get sponsors and you still tolerate us.
We did get one offer.
We did get an offer.
It wasn't,
that's the only one I mentioned.
It was one of those, hey, we're a real person. But what they inserted it into, like, okay, insert title of the podcast here, was Peasant's Perspective and not Design Dorks.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Anyway, we've talked enough. See you all later, guys. It's been fun.